Hello, this is Thomas, K4SWL. If you're new here, I like to do real-time, real-life amateur radio field activation videos. And today I'm at Lake Powhatan here in Pisgah National Forest, actually with Hazel, as you can see. And I want to do a quick little walk with her before I do the activation. So we've just been out walking around a little bit. There's actually a picnic site up here that we're going to use. I'm not going to go down to the lake this time. I think it'll just be easier to do it up here at the top. It's busy down at the lake because it's a beautiful, beautiful day. And yeah, I just decided to maybe set up here. Another reason why I did is this is up on a little bit of a hill right here. And because of that, I'm hoping that I'll have cell phone service maybe. We'll just have to see. On the drive in here this morning, I saw a mom and two cubs. A mama bear and two cubs, and which isn't surprising actually. When I was camping here with my friends Monty and Mike, I saw we encountered a bear as we were hiking. They're all out in this area. Also saw a deer and her little baby run in front of the car. I was going really slowly, so I wasn't worried about hitting them or anything. So it's a pretty active place, and I've just set up here. This is at a little off to the side picnic area. I think people don't really use a whole lot. And I'm hoping it'll be a good site for doing a park activation today. I brought the Xiegu X6200 with me. I'm just looking around at the trees right now to decide where I might want to do an antenna deployment. Got to be a little careful. I see no small amount of poison ivy around here, just looking around. Hazel, I hope you've been avoiding that. I've got Hazel with me. I didn't have her with me this morning. I did an activation this morning too, and she was asleep then. I didn't wake her up before I went out, but I knew I'd probably take her out today, so really happy about that. She likes to come out with me. And yeah, so I'm going to use the X6200 if all goes well. I think I have enough time to do both CW and a single sideband activation. Let me actually start with single sideband if I can spot myself here. Easy enough. Down the hill, actually over here, down the hill at the lake, there's not enough cell phone service for data. So, but there's enough to text, and I can actually text my friends and ask them to spot me if I can't do it myself. So anyway, let's get things set up. I'm going to end up putting on my wireless mics and checking them and make sure they're working properly, and then we'll get things going. So I'll be right back. Okay, I think we're good to go now. Hazel's about to do a little sunning, I think. It's such a beautiful day. This is just some of the nicest weather we've had so far in June, in terms of it being dry and not cool, but it's this morning it was maybe 55 degrees, which was really, really nice and welcome. But it's not exactly super hot either. It's a perfect day to be out. Loads of people are coming out here and parking to go down to the beach, of course. So I'm looking here at the trees, and what I want to do is set up something. I thought about putting up an NFET halfway, but then I decided I really do want to use the tuner again in the X6100. So instead, I think I'm going to try to launch a line up in maybe this branch right here. I'm trying to, so this may be hard to see, in 2D here, but basically there's the parking lot, there's a little entrance that comes up here into this area, and then there's a path right here that goes down. And so I always try to think through an activation before I set up an antenna that I don't want my antenna to be anywhere in a path that people normally walk, because most people aren't expecting antennas in the way. So I'm actually going to set up over here to the side where really there isn't any reason someone would be walking through here. There's no path here. It would be behind me, so I'd be able to see it easily. And I think that branch is what I'm going to go for. That should serve me well. It is going to require that I go out here and be really careful around all this poison ivy. Maybe I can do it from this end. I can probably do it from here. It's a little steep angle. It's hard to see from here, but let's see if I can maybe get all this in the camera. We'll find out. It's nice and pretty level here, so we'll see if I can get it up in there. I'm wearing my broad brim hat here because By the way, you see me wear the same things a lot of times in these videos, and there's a really good reason for that. I'm actually going to make a post about this soon. I treat some of my clothes with permethrin, including my hat and sometimes these shirts that I throw over other t-shirts and my shoes, and that keeps all of the ticks and things off of me. And so I wear the same things over and over because those are kind of my outdoor hiking and activating clothes. This is going to be a little tight here, but we're going to do it. Here we go. It's going to be throwing it straight up in the air. Ah, that worked. There we go. Let's see if I can get it to come over this way. There we go. Keep in mind when a throw line's coming down, you have a little bit of control over it by, if it's swaying, to lower it as it's swaying toward the area you want it to be. If I'd have let it drop the way it came, I would have had to gone out into the woods here to get it, but I just waited for it to kind of do its pendulum thing and sway over this way. That's perfect. This is going to work really well. So now let's get the antenna, bring you back over here. Let's get the antenna and set it up. Okay. Okay, first of all, let's see. Let me grab this. I'm going to use the same setup I had this morning. So probably in the last video you saw it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to use my ABR cable and my Pactina 9-to-1. I can take my glasses out of here now. I actually put my glasses up and things when I'm using my throw line, just in case the weight were to go somewhere I didn't want it to. And by the way, I know my friends Bob and Alana, they actually sent me a nice tablecloth and a whisk, which I stuck in my car to bring along with me in case. They said sometimes when I come to a POTA site, Alana was thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's taking these nice radios out on such dirty tables. Well, it's in the wrong car. I ended up taking my Subaru today since I was bringing Hazel because it just accommodates her a little bit better. And so it's not in the car. So anyway, there's a little bit of pollen and stuff on the table, but that's not that bad. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's grab the Pactina. This is my Pactina. I almost could pull it up and let it unravel itself, but since I have a counterpoise on here, that doesn't work as well. So what I'm going to do instead is just pull it off, go ahead and hook it up here, doing a simple little knot, and we should be good to go. This is an X hook, or S hook, so I could do, some other kind of knot on here, or not even a knot at all, just make a loop at the end of the line, but I kind of like it this way. Here we go. This is a 31-foot radiator again, so not super long. Counterpoise is 17 feet. And I'm hoping this will serve me well today. I'm probably going to be up and around 20 meters. We may not move off of 20 meters for all I know. I have no clue what the conditions are like right now. There's poison ivy there too. There's poison ivy all around this site. Got to really be careful. This is actually a really nice park, but no matter where you go, you got to watch out. It's not up to the park rangers to always take care of all the poison ivy. They don't spray the forest. It is what it is. It's going to have whatever is normally in the forest here. There we go. Whoops. Okay. And we'll raise it up about this far. There we go. That's about right, isn't it? Yeah, I think I'll probably do. About that far right there. And I'll grab my weight to throw on the end of it. This will just kind of hold it in place in case we get a breeze or something. I don't expect anything today. That'll kind of hold it right there in place nicely. Untangle the counterpoise. I'm actually going to throw the counterpoise here off to the side, I think this way. People have asked me if it makes any difference. I've never noticed a big difference when you only have one counterpoise. I don't know how directional it would make your antenna, in this case at least, with a little random wire. I don't think it makes a huge difference. And as I said last time, you don't have to have a counterpoise with this. It works perfectly fine without one. But mine has one on it, so I use it. Okay, and this ABR cable has an inline choke right here. And I actually put this close to the radio as opposed to close to the antenna. That's the way I've always done it. Seems to work pretty well for me. Now this morning, one thing I'll be listening for today is broadcast band interference. Now, I don't expect it here. I would have expected it this morning and didn't hear it. Some of the previous models of X6100, sorry, I'm just trying to lower this tripod here a little bit for you. Some of those previous models of Xiegu radios were prone to overload. And we'll see if we have any issue here. But I used the prototype down below the hill here and didn't have an issue with it when I did that. Okay, one of these started causing a little bit of microphone noise. But I am going to take one of these microphones out and set it on the table. There we go. Hazel, you all ready for an activation? Girl, I don't get it. She'll just sit in the sun all day long. She is a sunning dog. She is happy there. No. No bark. Hazel. There's a young lady that was bringing some trash over and throwing it out. Hazel decided she should woof at her a little bit. She has just as much right to be here as we do, girl. Yes. Just as much right. That's just Hazel, though, especially as she's gotten older and after she had her ear surgery, which basically effectively made her deaf. Unfortunately, it was just a necessary evil. She had really, really bad ear infections, and since we did that, her temperament changed a little bit. Basically, in terms of how she handles other dogs and other people. Sometimes she gets a little surprised by them because I think she doesn't hear them coming up sometimes. Where it's really bad is in the car. She's really horrible to bark at people really badly if they show up in the car next to us and get out of the car and get close to the window. She's a little protective of it, but she's getting to be an older dog now. She's allowed a little bit of leeway. She's all bark too and no bite. Hazel's never bitten anyone. She's a good dog. Okay. Now, I'll repeat this. This is, in case you didn't see my video from this morning, but this is a production run X6200. So this is one that Radio Oddity arranged for me to have and use on loan while they're getting production ready on this radio. I don't know when it's going to be widely available. I know it's up for order right now, I believe, but I'm not sure when it's supposed to be available or anything. Let me start on single sideband. So if I do that, I need to actually get out the mic and hook it up. I haven't done that yet. Now, the mic on this one is kind of more substantial than the one that was on the X6100 and X5105. And I like it. It's a really nice mic, and I hope it works well. I'm probably not going to use the voice keyer today. I haven't set up any of the voice keyer functions, but I'm probably not going to use it today. I want to just see how it handles just regular mic conditions. Also, setting up this, I got this little tooth-in battery. Joshua now sells these, I think, pretty regularly. You can go to toothtin.us or .com, and it'll take you to the site. This is actually the cable for my IC705, and it fits the 6200 really nicely. It uses the same size coaxial cable, so I don't have to mess with their cable that comes with the radio. I don't have to put Anderson power poles on it or anything. In case the next person that gets this doesn't care for that. This is one of those days that whisk would have come in handy. Okay, what else do I need to grab here? Yes, I need some way to log, right? The pencil isn't where I expected. I wonder if it fell out of my pack here. I don't know about you guys, but I have a thing for really good mechanical pencils, and I'm a little picky about them, actually. I like to have pencils that are, you know what, I'm probably going to have to go back to the car to grab a pencil. For some reason, I wonder if I dropped it this morning, because it is not in my pack. Must have dropped it out. I've got more in the car. It's not an issue. Yep, okay, so I'm going to turn this off. Oh wait, did I put it in here? Aha, that's where it is. I actually had a separate logbook for this. That's the reason why. Okay, so it's here. You were almost going to have an edit there. Getting a quick drink of water, because I know I'm going to need that. If I'm using single sideband, I'm not used to using my vocal cords here during park activations. Okay, so we're going to turn this on. So I press and hold it until this light turns solid. There we go. You can't see it very well here in the full light, but that is lit up there where it says Xiegu right there. Xiegu or Xiegu. I say Xiegu. Oh, that's a positive sign. The mic's lit up. Okay. Let it do its power on initiation thing. US 4510. Pisgah National Forest. X6200. Pactena. 9-1. And we're going to start on 20 meters. Let's move up to that. And now I actually need to move up to the single sideband portion of 20 meters. You know what I may do? Maybe I'll use my ABVFO to do this. Okay. That's funny. That was actually set to CW. Okay. I am not used to using single sideband. You'll probably hear me stumble over myself. Looks like there's some signals on the band. That's really good. Let's listen here for a bit. So I'm going to move the key off to the side here for a moment. I'm not hearing anyone, so I'm going to turn on the ATU. It's already on. There we go. Got a nice match there. Now we're using 5 watts of power right now, and that's because I usually validate my parks with 5 watts of power. I am going to test this at its full power output. But it's saying right now, by the way, I didn't even know that it would do, so it's saying 4 watts right now. This morning it said 5 watts. Maybe the voltage of the battery has gone down so much. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to move this AGC to fast. Ooh, so touchy. There we go. Now let's move this to 5 watts. There we go. Okay, looks like it is 5 watts. Okay, exit. I'm not hearing anyone there. so we may go for this. Let's go in here to somebody off to the side there. But there's nobody. This is one of the great things about having a spectrum display, especially with single sideband. You can really kind of see where people are. And there's nobody right there, so maybe I'll make it 12. Sounds like they were behind, lower than me. $14,312. Is this frequency in use? This is K4SWL. Is this frequency in use? This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima. So I'm putting in here in the spots SSB with the X6200. Let's see if that actually takes. I do have 2 bars here. Oh, it's probably not going to show it here because I need to have SSB selected. Yeah, it's working. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. I don't even know what protocol is anymore. What people do is convention. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. I've never done an audio test with this radio ever. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. There's a strong station next to me. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. Oh, someone's really drowning. Someone's really drowning me out there. I have a hunch. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. Yeah. There's almost no way someone's going to hear me there. Is this frequency in use? Is this frequency in use? This is K4SWL. CQ POTA, CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling, CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling, CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling, CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling, CQ for Parks on the Air. Wait a minute, I'm seeing that this is in... Wait a minute, this was in lower sideband. I just noticed that down here. I wasn't in upper sideband the whole time. I'm trying to remember. Let me move up here a bit. I hear a little bit of noise when I ground the... Is this frequency in use? This is K4SWL. Is this frequency in use? This is K4SWL. CQ POTA, CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling, CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling, CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling, CQ for Parks on the Air. That could explain why people weren't hearing me very well, as I was in the wrong sideband. CQ POTA, CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling, CQ for Parks on the Air. By the way, I'm still running on the same battery charge from this morning. CQ POTA, CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling, CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling, CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling, CQ for Parks on the Air. Oh, it's quiet today. Look at that huge station. CQ POTA, CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling, CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling, CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling, CQ for Parks on the Air. Selections automatic. Low mic gain, high mic gain. CQ POTA, CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling, CQ for Parks on the Air. Oh, I bet you I just changed the frequency. 321, did I move it back? Okay, I don't think I did. CQ POTA, CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling, CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling, CQ for Parks on the Air. I don't know if that makes any difference or not. I don't know what the high mic gain and low mic gain are really doing here. I'm moving them up to 5 to see what... CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. Based on the signal strength, I think I'm actually doing okay, but I may move it back down a little bit. I don't want to like overdrive it, and I don't have a way to check it right now until I have somebody that I'm working. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. Wow, gain goes way up. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. And what I did was I changed them both to half the setting. I don't know what 0 to 30 means exactly. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. This is where I wish I had a buddy on the other end that we could do an audio test with. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. And it reminds me, like with single sideband, you don't have a reverse beacon network to show you what your decibels are. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. Okay, maybe I'll move up to the 17 meter band. Let's see, so I'm in this VFO, right? Let's change it. I'm listening. Is this frequency in use? This is K4SWL. Is this frequency in use? This is K4SWL. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. What we may do is go to CW for a little bit and then hop back over to single sideband when I hook up the battery to it. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. Very acceptable SWR, looks like about a 1.7 to 1. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. Even if I'm overdriving it a bit, if someone's hunting for me, they would probably hear that it's me and could tell me that my audio was horrible. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. Nobody can say that I didn't give it the good old college try right now. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. Man, I'm just not hearing anything today. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. That's my last call. So let's move down to the CW portion. Well, that was set up for USB. Let's move down to the CW portion here of the band and give it a go. Give it a go. I think that is a rag chew going on. Oh, let's move the mic out of the way here. Won't need that for right now. What am I missing? Okay, so the preamp is not on. No, it is on. Oh, I just missed it. It's right there. Okay. I'm trying to single our CW now. Okay, now to get into message memories, I have to go to App, Modem, make sure CW's on, then click Message. Now it'll give me the messages. Now, I'm curious, I don't know if I've ever done this. Have I done this? I want to see if it'll auto-spot me now that I've moved over, because I'm spotted here in single sideband. Is my AGC still set to fast? No, it's on auto. AGC is on auto. Let me go into the general settings. Again, settings 1, AGC. I thought I set it to fast. Oh, it's probably for the other VFO. There we go. Exit. I have to go back into modem again. I have to go app, modem, message. Yeah, it did automatically spot me from ZF9 CW with a really big RBN presence there. But I want to change my key. Am I hearing somebody there? RF gain's at 100. This is one of the confusing things about this radio is I don't know whether to use the encoder or the multifunction knob. I forget for these different menus, and that means I kind of screw it up sometimes, which I just did. I used the encoder when the encoder moved the frequency instead of doing what I thought it would do. So you eventually learn that, but it's kind of a quirk with their ergonomics, the way they've laid out their menus. Kind of wish they would have been consistent with how, if you use the multifunction knob or the encoder to change a value in a menu setting. Got another good RBN report. Conditions today may be pretty bad. $229. Oh no, 339. You can see the display here with the, it actually did a really good copy of my own, and let's see what it did with WI5D. Okay, wait, what was that again? In There we go. Wow, it's a strong signal out of Washington. Yeah, QSB, I know. Oh, it actually shows that on there. But it can't pick him up right now because he's a little weak. Minnesota. Oh, my clock's cracked too. Sorry, I can't quite get you, so we'll go ahead and hit. Good to get you in the logs too, N7JTT. He's saying I'm here. Finally good. So he's in Birmingham. Is it Birmingham, Washington? Very nice. Hearing a little bit of noise in the background. It is slow going today. Obviously, the bands are kind of weak. Well, it's not weak in the sense that you won't get DX or something, but it's just weak in the sense that, see, look at that. I got a 24 dB on ZF9, which I think is down into... Gotcha. .229. I'm getting weak signals right now. Oh no, you can hear a little popping. And that's only happening, I think, during the keying with the memory keyer. It's like a little audio pop. Probably with the audio gain, more so than the radio RF gain, I guess. I mean, not RF gain, but gain control. What are you looking for, girl? Come here. What you need, girl? She needs a little doggy love, I think. You feeling lonely? You need a call sign so you can do your own POTA, Hazel. Yep, you'd have a lot of fans out there. She's getting a... She's going through my feed line here. Okay. Okay, let's look around down here on the 20-meter band. Not a load of activity down here either. Listen here for just a little bit. AGC is back on automatic. It must do it by band. it'll take at least 2 of those just for the reverse beacon network to pick me up. And the RBNs picked me up again. I didn't have to spot myself. I want to see what ZF9CW has as an antenna farm, because it's pretty amazing the signal reports you get from What happened? Did they just disappear? Oh my goodness. They just disappeared on me. Let's try something shorter. Okay. Maybe they had a keying problem. Excuse me. water while it's sending. Okay, right. I'm messing this up. They sound like they're in this park with me. Good to get you in here. Sorry if that was loud. My allergies are getting me. You see all this pollen around. Excuse me. So here's a little thing. It says there's a power failure, power down in 177 seconds. That's a little quirk I found on this radio that they need to sort out. I don't think that actually means anything. I think it's like a little power interruption of some sort. We'll turn it off and turn it back on again, and I'm going to actually hook up this battery to it. Cycle it off. Will it turn off? There we go. I'm going to plug in the battery, wait for it to completely turn off here, and I'll turn it back on. Maybe that'll stop the, there we go. I can drink a little water while it's doing this. It is a little weird living in a world where radios need to boot up. It's kind of strange. Let's try this again now. It's still doing that, but I'm just going to ignore it. I don't think it's anything big. charged up. There we go. Yeah, it wasn't charged up. Okay, I need to go into app, modem, CW, message. Now I'm actually operating at 8 watts, I think. Yep, 8 watts. I want to see how it runs at this power level. So I'm going to make a little note here, 8 watts. So the interesting part is, you may have seen that like I had like a bunch of Michigan and Ohio there in a cluster, and I had Texas in a cluster. And that's the way when propagation's not very stable, things like that happen. You'll have a little opening to like New York. New York was an opening a moment ago. I can't stop it. I can't stop. Sending Oregon question mark. Maybe that person, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, to be honest. I'm gonna call it quits here in just a moment. Take Hazel for a little hike. Sorry, buddy, I tried you. I don't know if I got something wrong in your call or if maybe I faded out, which is probably what happened, to be honest.
Mind if I join you up here?
Oh, not at all.
Okay.
I'm just doing a little bit of ham radio here.
Gotcha. Hey, buddy. That's a good boy there. I know. Yes, sir.
It's okay, Hazel. She did. I think you just surprised her. That's all.
That's okay. Hello, girl. Is it okay if I say hello?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Come say hello. I got a couple pups. So.
She's actually really friendly. You're coming on the table here. Yes.
Hello. What you working on? Doing some SOS stuff?
I am.
Yeah.
Let me.
Pretty cool.
I'm gonna turn this off though now. Actually, I told him Hazel is on the table. You are so funny. So I'm actually recording a video right now. I do. Whoops. Yeah, I do these videos that are of. Okay, radio, turn off. There we go. So I'm an amateur radio operator, and I do a program called Parks on the Air, and we go out to parks like this is for Pisgah National Forest, and so the program works with state and national parks primarily here in the U.S. But it's an international thing. And you come out here with your radio, you set up a little antenna like I've got here, hop on the air. People use voice modes where they're just talking. You know, I was doing that a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
I like to use Morse code though, and so that's what I use more than anything else. And then people use digital modes as well, but they'll make contacts with other people that are trying to basically hunt this park. So they want to check off that they work somebody at this park, and I just work anybody that contacts me. And so it's kind of fun. It's just a good reason to get out into a park and be outdoors. And if you're into radio,
Some people hunt and they're connected, and they're what information are they giving to you? Just their locations?
That's a good question. So it's mainly they give me their state or province, usually. If they're outside the U.S., they usually don't tell. I mean, you can look at their call sign as an amateur radio operator and tell where they are. But usually it's their state or province, and they give you a signal report. So they tell you how well you're being heard, and that's pretty much it. Okay. Sometimes though, when you work someone that's also at a park, they call it a park to park, they'll give you their park designator. So like this has a designator for Pisgah National Forest. There's one for Pisgah Game Land. There's one for Blue Ridge Parkway. There's one for all of our state and national forests around here. And so you would exchange those so you could write down what you had gotten from someone else. And like today, the bands were actually kind of rough. You need to hop off the table, girl. You just need to hop off the table. The bands were a little rough, but I still worked people, I think did I work somebody on the West Coast today? Yes, I worked somebody in Washington State, Texas, New York, Connecticut.
And that's just with FM?
It's with CW, or Morse code, on the shortwave band, so the high frequency band. So these are way below FM.
Okay.
It's sort of like above what you hear on your AM radio. Mm-hmm. It's like above that, but below FM.
Okay.
And what happens is, like, my signal will travel off this little tiny 31-foot wire here, and it bounces off the ionosphere and comes back down. And that's the reason why you can do long distance communications with it. And it's just like it's a nuance. It's actually really fun to get out and do this.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, it's super interesting. I've never met anybody that's ever,
Doing
that,
this.
like doing anything like this before. So
Yeah.
first, you know, getting an explanation and seeing somebody do it. That's really cool.
Yeah, you'll probably, it's a really popular activity in the world of amateur radio right now. And a lot of us love it because I'm not one that likes to just sit in my house and turn on radio and make contacts. I like to be outdoors.
Yeah.
And I also enjoy setting up my whole station when I do it. So I use an arborist throw line and all this stuff. And I also do a program that's really fun called Summits on the Air. And for that, I'll take a much smaller kit. Like this is the radio itself. It's outputting, most of this I was doing about 4 or 5 watts of power. And on the high power, it'll do like 8 or something, not very much. But that's enough to make these contacts. When I go to a summit, I'll take even smaller gear, like little radios that are not bigger than a pack of playing cards. And with Morse code is super efficient. It makes for super efficient radios, and also it's a super efficient mode. And so I can make contacts all over the place. Like last year when I was up on Black Balsam here, I worked a station in Spain, I worked stations all over the US, and I worked a station in Java Island, Indonesia, with an antenna that was 4 feet tall.
Whoa.
Yes.
There's no interference.
Yeah, there's not interference up there, but it's just how sometimes the signal will bounce off the ionosphere and come back down to Earth. And that one took several bounces.
I gotcha.
They bounce off the ionosphere, come back down to Earth, bounce off the ionosphere again. The ionosphere at different times of the day kind of like contains all of the signals, the HF signals. It's like a reflector that reflects everything back.
Yeah.
At nighttime, it's not ionized anymore. I can't say it.
So how many feet up is that?
Oh, it's way up. These are in like the F1 and 2 regions of the ionosphere, those layers. So it's way up.
30, 40?
You know, it's probably, I don't know. I used to know what those were. I think that's even in our exam, but it's like edge of atmosphere sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
And the higher the layer, sometimes the longer it'll cast that.
Yeah.
You know, it'll cast that. So, yeah, it's just kind of fun doing this. We also use FM and VHF, UHF stuff. So we'll go on a summit and we'll just have a handy talkie, like a walkie-talkie sort of thing, and we can make contacts with that. But they're going to be more local, you know, when you do it. Well, when you're on a summit and you've got good line of sight, you can work a pretty long distance with one of those. But yeah, so I enjoy doing it.
Sweet, that's awesome, man.
Sure. Okay, so I'm back, and I have gone ahead and turned off the radio. You probably heard part of my conversation here, but I turned it off after a little while because we were just chatting. Hazel took it upon herself to get up on the table because she wanted to be petted by Bob here, who's next door. Really nice fellow. So let's go ahead and take down the antenna. Let's pack up things here. You know what? Let's put up the radio first. And wish I could have worked someone on single sideband today, but that's okay. Bands were weak, for sure. Even in CW, people were giving me really low signal reports. So, and you can hear how bad the QSB was. And what did I lose? Like 2 or 3 people just from them just kind of disappearing. No, I dropped. Oh no, here it is. Oh yeah. Before I forget, I need to take a picture of my logs. Don't want to forget to do that. People have been telling me about the new POTA logger app, and I do plan to use it, but lately I just haven't been logging on my phone, and so I haven't even tried it yet, but I've been enjoying not logging on my phone, but in truth I probably need to be. It makes me a lot quicker to upload my logs. If you've ever worked me, you'll know there's like almost a 2-week delay sometimes with getting my logs up. Put this back in here. I think I just need to either the voltage of this, I didn't check, but either the voltage of this is low enough that the X6200 wasn't using it, or I may have depleted this battery and forgot to mark it as, usually when I have the rubber band around it, I have already charged it, but I must not have done it this time. These are really great little batteries, actually, but I had another battery here. Not that I needed it. I think the X6200 still had probably another 30 minutes of working stations on it, probably. Okay. this up, put this up, and let's see here. And I will stick this in here again, actually, top. Put this in my bag here. This Hazel Lounges. Okay, let's put up the feed line now. And it's kind of gotten tangled up in Hazel's, her lead or her, what do you call it? Leash. It's funny, sometimes I remember British words and I can't remember the American words after I say them. Here we go. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I was off camera, but just tried to untangle that from her leash. She did wrap herself around a little bit, but she didn't pull in too much, and I was kind of watching it the whole time. And I'll put this on. Go through this in the pack. So put this in the pack this way. And now let's get the okay, something in here. There we go. Sorry, I know that's probably making some noise. Okay, let's put this up. So first thing I'll do is unhook this weight. And then we'll go ahead and wrap up the antenna. You got a little S hook just kind of caught on one of those small branches. Main thing is I'm making sure the wire's not touching any poison ivy, the counterpoise wire. Okay, there we go. So I'm not touching that. I'd probably use this antenna easily 100 times. So let's find the bit of Velcro that I threw in here. I need to rearrange this. I don't have this actually the way I want it. Here it is. And now let's do the throw line. I'll take a picture of Hazel over there. She's so funny. On her, perched up on her table. So thank you guys so much for coming along for the ride today. It was nice to get that activation going, and nice to spend a little more time with the X6200. Again, that radio is in early firmware version. So if you're watching this months after the activation, then you're probably not getting a good indicator of what it's going to be like in the next few weeks when they start doing updates to the firmware. But okay, let's get this all in here. There we go. I left out one thing. That is so typical of me. I'll stick this up at the top because I'm actually moving that to a different bag. Yeah. So, what a beautiful day. I think I've got maybe just enough time to take Hazel on a quick 15-minute hike, a little walk, then we'll head on our way. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you've got any questions about the X6200, I'll do my best to answer them. You can just comment on the video if you want. And yeah, I so far though haven't heard any broadcast interference on it, which I really like. I'm looking forward to them fix the keyer timing, which I'm sure they'll do. And other than that, it's a lot like the X6100. I'm looking forward to trying to use it on field day and see how well it handles all of those signals, and we'll just have to see how that works out. Okay, again, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much to my Patreon and Coffee Fund supporters. You guys rock. And take care of one another out there, because all we got on this planet is each other. Until next time, 7 twos.